I am Dr. Laura Moreno, and in this video, I want to talk to you about herbal infusions for deep sleep, something many people turn to when they struggle to fall asleep, stay asleep, or feel truly rested in the morning. Sleep problems are incredibly common, and it's understandable to look for gentle, natural support. But not all sleep teas work the same way, and many people unknowingly make mistakes that actually keep them awake instead of helping them rest. An infusion for deep sleep is not just about choosing a calming herb. It's about understanding how the nervous system works, how timing and dosage matter, and how certain habits around bedtime can completely cancel out any benefit, no matter how good the recipe is. First, it's important to understand what deep sleep really means. Deep sleep is not just falling asleep quickly. It's the stage of sleep where the body repairs tissues, regulates hormones, supports immune function, and allows the brain to truly rest. You can fall asleep fast and still not get deep, restorative sleep. Many people wake up tired not because they didn't sleep long enough, but because their sleep was shallow or fragmented. Herbal infusions can support deep sleep by calming the nervous system, reducing mental overactivity, and helping the body shift into a rest and repair state. But they do not force sleep. They support the conditions for sleep, and that distinction matters. Let's talk about a simple, effective infusion recipe that is commonly well tolerated and supportive for deep sleep when used correctly. A classic combination includes chamomile, lemon balm, and passion flower. Chamomile helps relax the body and reduce physical tension. Lemon balm supports nervous system calm and can quiet mental chatter. Passion flower helps slow racing thoughts and supports deeper sleep stages in some people. To prepare this infusion, you don't need large amounts. More is not better when it comes to sleep herbs. A balanced approach works best. Use about 1 teaspoon of dried chamomile flowers, 1 teaspoon of dried lemon balm, and half a teaspoon of dried passion flower. Place the herbs in a cup and pour hot water over them. Cover the cup and let it steep for about 7 to 10 minutes. Covering is important because it helps retain the aromatic compounds that contribute to the calming effect. After steeping, strain the herbs. You can drink it warm, not hot. Very hot liquids close to bedtime can actually stimulate the body instead of relaxing it. Now, let's talk about dosage, because this is where many people go wrong. 1 cup is usually enough. Drinking multiple cups in the evening can backfire. Too much liquid close to bedtime increases nighttime awakenings to urinate, which fragments sleep. The goal is calm, not overload. Timing matters just as much as the herbs themselves. The ideal time to drink a sleep infusion is about 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime. Drinking it right before lying down can increase bladder activity. Drinking it too early may cause the calming effect to wear off before you actually try to sleep. Another important point is consistency. Using an infusion occasionally can help in the moment, but deep sleep improves when the nervous system learns a predictable rhythm. Using the infusion as part of a consistent evening routine is often more effective than using it randomly. Now, let's talk about the mistakes that keep people awake, even when they are drinking the right tea. One of the most common mistakes is choosing stimulating herbs by accident. Not all herbal teas are calming. Peppermint, green tea, mate, and even some digestive blends can be stimulating for certain people. Drinking these in the evening can increase alertness and delay sleep. Another mistake is adding sugar or honey in large amounts. Sweet flavors can trigger insulin release and subtly activate the nervous system. If you sweeten your infusion, use very small amounts or none at all. Using sleep infusions while still engaging in stimulating activities is another major issue. Scrolling on your phone, watching intense content, working late, or having stressful conversations will override the calming effect of any herb. The infusion cannot compete with constant stimulation. Some people make the mistake of expecting immediate, dramatic effects. They drink the tea and then lie in bed waiting to feel knocked out. That expectation creates pressure, which keeps the mind active. Sleep works best when it's allowed, not forced. Another overlooked mistake is drinking the infusion too strong. Letting herbs steep for too long or using large quantities can cause side effects like nausea, vivid dreams, or restlessness instead of calm. There is also the issue of combining too many herbs. More herbs do not mean more sleep. Complex blends can confuse the nervous system and increase the chance of unwanted effects. Simplicity is often more effective. Some people drink sleep infusions every night for months without reassessing. While many calming herbs are gentle, the body still benefits from breaks. Using an infusion nightly without pauses can reduce effectiveness over time. It's also important to talk about who should be cautious. People who are pregnant, taking sedative medications, or dealing with certain medical conditions should not use sleep herbs casually. Even gentle herbs can interact or have unexpected effects. Children should not use sleep infusions regularly without guidance. Their nervous systems are more sensitive, and sleep issues in children often have different causes. Another mistake is ignoring the daytime factors that affect sleep. Caffeine intake, irregular meals, lack of daylight exposure, and high stress during the day all affect nighttime sleep. A nighttime infusion cannot undo a highly stimulating day. Hydration timing matters too. Drinking large amounts of fluid late in the evening, even herbal tea, can disrupt sleep through nighttime awakenings. Now, when used correctly, a sleep infusion can become a signal to the body. It tells your nervous system that the day is ending, that it's safe to slow down, that rest is coming. This signaling effect is just as important as the herbs themselves. The warmth of the cup, the ritual of preparation, the pause before bed all contribute to the calming response. This is why rushing through it often reduces its effectiveness. Sleep is not just about what you take, it's about what you stop doing. Lowering lights, reducing noise, slowing down mentally, all create space for the infusion to do its job. Herbal infusions are supports, not solutions on their own. When combined with consistent routines and reduced stimulation, they can gently encourage deeper, more restorative sleep. And as you start to observe how your body responds, you may notice that certain herbs work better for you than others, that timing makes a difference, and that small adjustments can change the quality of your sleep in meaningful ways, opening the door to understanding what truly helps you rest deeply and what habits may still be quietly keeping your nervous system too alert to fully let go at night. And that observation is key, because sleep is one of the areas where the body gives very honest feedback. If something supports sleep, you usually feel it not just at night, but the next morning. You wake up clearer, steadier, more grounded. If something interferes with sleep, the signs also show up quickly. Difficulty falling asleep, waking during the night, vivid or unsettling dreams, or waking up tired despite enough hours in bed. One important point many people miss is that calming does not mean the same thing for every nervous system. Some people need herbs that gently relax the body, others need herbs that quiet mental activity, and some people actually become restless with herbs that are supposed to be calming because their system reacts differently. For example, chamomile is very gentle for most people, but a small percentage feel more alert or uncomfortable with it. Lemon balm is calming for many, but in some people it can cause vivid dreams or mental activity. Passion flower can be very helpful for racing thoughts, but if the dose is too high, it can feel heavy or unsettling. This doesn't mean the herb is bad, it means the dose or the match isn't right. That's why starting with small amounts is always wiser than starting strong. You can always adjust upward, but starting too strong can create a negative association with the ritual of sleep. Another factor that affects how an infusion works is what you've eaten in the evening. Heavy meals late at night keep the digestive system active and compete with sleep. Spicy or very rich foods can increase body temperature and heart rate, making it harder for calming herbs to do their job. Alcohol is another major disruptor. Even though it may make you feel sleepy initially, it fragments sleep later in the night. Drinking a sleep infusion after alcohol rarely leads to deep rest. The nervous system is already dysregulated. Caffeine sensitivity also matters. Some people metabolize caffeine slowly and are affected by it even in the afternoon. In those cases, no infusion will fully overcome that stimulation. Light exposure plays a huge role as well. Bright lights in the evening, especially screens, suppress the body's natural melatonin production. You can drink the best sleep infusion in the world, but if your eyes are telling your brain it's daytime, deep sleep will still be difficult. Another mistake people make is using sleep infusions only when they are already exhausted or desperate for sleep. While they can help in those moments, they work best as part of prevention, not crisis management. Teaching the nervous system to wind down regularly is more effective than trying to force sleep after days of overload. There is also the question of temperature. Some people sleep better when their core body temperature drops slightly before bed. A very hot drink too close to bedtime can delay that drop. Letting the infusion cool slightly before drinking can make a difference. Breathing patterns are another hidden factor. Slow, deep breathing signals safety to the nervous system. Drinking the infusion while breathing shallowly and rushing defeats part of its purpose. Taking a few slow breaths while holding the warm cup can enhance the calming effect. Another common mistake is lying down immediately after drinking the infusion. Giving your body a short transition period, sitting quietly, dimming lights, and moving gently towards sleep helps the nervous system shift more smoothly. Some people expect the infusion to knock them out. That expectation creates pressure. Pressure is the enemy of sleep. The goal is not to feel sedated, but to feel ready. It's also important to talk about frequency. Using a sleep infusion every night for a short period can help reset a routine. But relying on it indefinitely without addressing underlying stress, anxiety, or sleep habits often leads to diminishing effects. Taking breaks allows the body to respond more naturally again. You may find that after a period of consistent routine, you no longer need the infusion every night. There are also people who experience emotional release when the nervous system finally slows down. Thoughts, memories, or emotions may surface. This can feel uncomfortable at first, but it's part of the nervous system processing. It's another reason not to expect immediate silence in the mind. Deep sleep is not something you force, it's something you allow by creating the right conditions repeatedly. Herbal infusions are one way of supporting those conditions, but they work best when paired with patience, consistency, and respect for how your individual system responds. And as you continue experimenting gently, noticing what helps and what interferes, you build a clearer relationship with your own sleep patterns, learning how small choices in the evening ripple into the night, shaping whether your body feels safe enough to fully let go, restore, and sink into the kind of deep sleep that truly supports healing and renewal. And that sense of safety is really at the center of deep sleep. The nervous system only allows deep, restorative sleep when it feels safe enough to power down. No herb, no supplement, no routine can override that basic requirement. What an infusion can do is gently signal that safety, but only if the rest of the environment supports it. This is why people sometimes say, the tea worked one night, but not the next. The herbs didn't suddenly stop working. The internal and external conditions changed. Stress, anticipation, unresolved worries, or even excitement can keep the nervous system alert no matter what you drink. Another detail that often goes unnoticed is how expectations shape the experience. If you approach the infusion with the mindset of, this has to work or tomorrow will be terrible, you are already activating stress. That pressure alone can block sleep. Approaching it as support rather than a solution changes how the body responds. There's also the role of routine consistency. The body learns through repetition. Drinking a sleep infusion at a different time every night, or only when you feel desperate, makes it harder for the nervous system to associate it with winding down. Consistency builds trust in the signal. Some people ask whether they should rotate herbs. For many, rotating is helpful. Using the same combination night after night can lead to reduced sensitivity. Alternating between gentle blends can keep the response fresh and prevent over-reliance on one formula. Another point worth mentioning is that not all sleep problems are the same. Difficulty falling asleep, waking in the middle of the night, and waking too early in the morning often have different underlying patterns. An infusion that helps one may not help the others equally. For example, racing thoughts at bedtime respond better to herbs that calm mental activity. Waking during the night may relate more to stress hormones, blood sugar balance, or environmental disturbances. Early waking can be related to stress, light exposure, or sleep timing. Understanding this helps set realistic expectations for what an infusion can and cannot do. Hydration balance also plays a role. Being too dehydrated can increase nighttime restlessness. Being overly hydrated can cause frequent waking to urinate. Finding the middle ground is important, especially in the evening. Another overlooked factor is magnesium intake from diet. Magnesium supports nervous system relaxation. While this video focuses on infusions, it's important to remember that sleep is influenced by overall nutrient status as well. Movement during the day affects sleep at night. Gentle physical activity helps regulate circadian rhythms and reduces excess nervous energy. Without that outlet, the body may struggle to settle, even with calming herbs. Sunlight exposure in the morning also matters. Morning light helps set the internal clock, making it easier to fall asleep at night. A sleep infusion works best when the circadian rhythm is supported during the day. Noise and temperature in the sleep environment are also critical. A warm, noisy, or overstimulating environment can override calming signals. Deep sleep prefers cool, dark, and quiet conditions. Another common mistake is multitasking while drinking the infusion. Drinking it while answering messages, watching stimulating content, or rushing around sends mixed signals. The body can't relax if the mind is still in doing mode. Slowing down before bed is not wasted time. It is preparation. The infusion is part of that preparation, not a shortcut around it. Some people worry that relying on herbal infusions means they are dependent. Using a gentle support temporarily is not dependency. Ignoring the body's need for help is often more harmful than using support wisely. However, if you feel anxious about not having the infusion, that's a sign to pause and reassess. Sleep should not become conditional on a substance. The goal is to teach your nervous system how to relax, not to outsource that skill. When an infusion is used as a cue rather than a crutch, it can be very effective. Over time, the body learns that evening equals slowing down, and deep sleep becomes more accessible even on nights without the tea. And as you continue refining your evening habits, adjusting doses, timing, and rituals, you may find that deep sleep becomes less elusive and more predictable. Not because of any single ingredient, but because you've created a consistent, supportive pattern that allows your body to trust the night, let go of vigilance, and enter the deeper stages of rest that restore energy, balance hormones, and support overall well-being in a way that no quick fix ever could. And that predictability is what many people with sleep problems have been missing for a long time. When sleep becomes inconsistent, the body stays on guard. It doesn't know when rest will come, so it keeps a level of alertness that interferes with deep sleep. An infusion, when used consistently, can help reestablish a rhythm, but only if the rest of the evening supports that rhythm as well. Another aspect that's rarely discussed is how emotional processing affects deep sleep. During the day, many people stay busy, distracted, or mentally overloaded. When night comes and stimulation drops, the nervous system finally has space to process. Thoughts surface, emotions rise. This is not a failure of the infusion. It's the body doing what it hasn't had time to do all day. Some people interpret this as the tea not working because their mind is active. In reality, the infusion may be allowing the nervous system to slow down enough for unresolved material to emerge. Learning to allow this without engaging or judging it is part of improving sleep quality. Journaling earlier in the evening, not right before bed, can help unload the mind so the infusion can do its calming work more effectively. Getting thoughts out of the head and onto paper reduces mental pressure later. Another common mistake is checking the clock repeatedly. Watching the minutes pass increases anxiety and keeps the brain alert. Turning the clock away or removing it from view can make a significant difference, even when using calming herbs. There is also the issue of perfectionism around sleep. Trying to create the perfect routine can itself become stressful. Sleep improves with gentle consistency, not rigid rules. Some nights will be better than others. That variability is normal. Expecting perfect sleep every night creates tension that disrupts the nervous system. Another factor to consider is hormonal fluctuation. Hormones influence sleep depth and timing. Changes across the month, stress hormones, or life transitions can all affect how well an infusion works on a given night. This is why comparing nights instead of tracking trends can be misleading. One restless night does not undo progress. Another overlooked issue is underlying breathing problems during sleep. Snoring, mouth breathing, or sleep-disordered breathing can fragment deep sleep regardless of how calm you feel before bed. In these cases, an infusion may help relaxation but not fully resolve unrefreshing sleep. Similarly, chronic pain can interfere with deep sleep. Herbs may reduce tension, but pain signals still activate the nervous system. Addressing pain separately is essential. The body also responds to seasonal changes. Light exposure, temperature, and routine shift with the seasons, and sleep needs adjust. What worked in one season may need slight adaptation in another. The idea that one recipe works forever ignores how dynamic the body is. Flexibility is part of good sleep hygiene. If you notice that a certain herb consistently causes vivid dreams or restlessness, that's useful information. Dreams are not bad, but intense dreaming that leaves you tired suggests the nervous system is still activated. Reducing the dose or changing the blend can help. Again, gentler often works better. The ritual itself matters deeply. Sitting quietly, dimming lights, slowing movements, and mentally marking the end of the day all support the nervous system's transition. Sleep is a biological process, but it is also a psychological one. Feeling safe, unpressured, and allowed to rest is essential. An infusion is a signal, not a switch. It says, it's okay to slow down now. The body decides what to do with that message based on everything else it's experiencing. As you continue to observe how your body responds night after night, you may begin to recognize earlier signs of tension and adjust sooner rather than waiting until exhaustion takes over. That early awareness is powerful. Deep sleep rarely arrives suddenly. It builds gradually as the nervous system learns, night after night, that the conditions are supportive, predictable, and non-threatening. And in that gradual process, the infusion becomes less about what's in the cup and more about what it represents. A pause, a boundary between day and night, a signal of care, and a reminder that rest is not something you earn through exhaustion, but something your body is allowed to receive when the right conditions are created consistently and with patience. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss upcoming videos where we talk about sleep and health in a clear, calm, and practical way. Share this video with someone who struggles to rest deeply, leave your questions or experiences in the comments, and join me as we continue learning how to support the nervous system and build habits that truly allow the body to sleep, recover, and restore itself.